Hello to Mystery Mondays. This is Jared, this is AJ, and that's Nathan down on the floor.
Is that the real intro?
I don't know. Hello to Mystery Mondays. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Mystery Mondays. Today we're going to be talking about invisible art. And the mystery is whether it has value or not. Now, I'm going to be playing devil's advocate. AJ is going to bring on all the hate. Nathan, what are you going to be doing?
Sleep.
Nathan's going to be sleeping on the floor. What I want to talk about is the history of what led to invisible art.
If I look completely unenthused, it's because I don't give a shit about this invisible art.
So invisible art all started with what they call the Dada movement, which is like a kind of like a surreal art. I'm just going to read this from Wikipedia because I don't feel like putting it in my own words. Many Dadaists believed that the reason and logic of bourgeois capitalist society had led people into war, World War I. According to Hans Richter, Dada was not art. It was anti-art. Dada represented the opposite of everything which art stood for. Where art was concerned with traditional aesthetics, Dada ignored aesthetics. If art was to appeal to sensibilities, Dada was intended to offend. So the beginnings of invisible art start in 1952 when John Cage composed something called 433. If you don't know what 433 is, it is literally 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence. The intention, I guess, was to take in your surroundings. Like, so if you go to a concert and 433 is being played, you're basically sitting there for an intermission of just sounds around you.
Yeah, you're paying to do what you could have done at home on the couch.
But, well, not at a concert hall. Which you could also go to the concert hall before the performance is starting and get the same effect. Unless I guess it was in between a piece of work. Whatever.
I guess part of it too is supposed to be you hear the ambience.
Ambience,
you hear
basically.
people you get to hear people cough and be like, why isn't he playing anything? Like you get that experience.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
you paid for it.
We'd like to play you a little bit of this masterpiece real quick. Okay, so that actually wasn't John Cage's composition. That was ours. That was for 6 seconds. I'm going to call it 6 seconds. Take that, John Cage. He's dead. I probably shouldn't say that. Anyway, this led to the Fluxus movement of the 60s.
Oh, it sounds cool.
Well, you're not going to like it once I tell you who's involved. Which was a network of Dada-esque artists, which includes Yves Klein, who did this, and my girl, and America's favorite, Yoko Ono. She has a bunch of different performance art pieces or whatever, but one of them is the recording of a dead rat, which is literally the sound of a dead rat, which is nothing.
She ripped off 433, which was nothing already.
Right.
Vicious beast.
Now,
her,
maybe,
not the rat.
Maybe if she gotten the mic down up in the guts of the rat, we could hear all the... that's terrible. Just recently, in 2015, Lena Newstrom had some invisible art. This was a parody. This was a hoax by Pat Kelly and Peter Oldring, just trying to play up people's hatred of the art scene and people who spend a lot of money on essentially nothing. There's also another person named Jay Chung who filmed a movie with actors and did not have film in the reel on purpose. As performance art. So far, this sounds just like asshole moves. This all leads us to James Franco's collaboration with Praxis. If you don't know who Praxis is, they are a bunch of performance artists as well, and they some of their art includes giving out free hugs. That's art, I guess. Giving out $1 bills, which is, I guess, giving something at that point.
Who's James Franco?
It's almost random acts of kindness, though.
But this next one may not be so kind. It's called MONA, the Museum of Non-Visible Art. Basically, the way it works is that you go up to the artist or whatever at the museum.
Let me tell you how it works. The way it works is you walk into a fucking white room and you just look at the walls and you're like, get on the floor. And you're like, oh my God, this is what they meant by this. And what they meant was that they just painted the walls white and didn't put shit on it.
Okay, well, that's not entirely true. What they do, Praxis or whoever is the artist is, will describe to you what their art piece is. And
there's no art pieces in it.
There's no art piece. They're describing you their intent for the art piece. They tell you what the context of the art piece would be if it existed. What you know about it affects how you feel about it, even if it is nothing.
I could have told you that I intended to make the goddamn Avengers movie. Well, so where is my $1 billion that it made in revenue?
If you want to do that, go to Mona and be like, this is the next Avengers movie according to me.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, it sounds like a good scam. Oh, I'm supposed to be playing devil's advocate. Oh, that's great. You don't even get like the frame. You get a plaque or a title telling you, and with a description of what you just learned about the piece, and that's what you get. Okay.
How much does that cost?
Okay, well, it's according. With art, the cost kind of fluctuates, obviously. We do know that one piece from this museum sold. It's not from James Franco's piece, which we'll talk about in just a second, but it's called Fresh Air, and it was bought by Amy Davison for $10,000. Okay, this is Fresh Air. This is a unique piece, only this one is for sale. The air you're purchasing is like buying an endless tank of oxygen. No matter where you are, you always have the ability to take a breath of the most delicious, clean-smelling air that the earth can produce. Every breath you take gives you endless peace and health. This artwork is something to carry with you if you own it, because wherever you are, you can imagine yourself getting the most beautiful taste of air that is from the mountaintops or fields or from the ocean side. It is an endless supply. That's what this person bought for $10,000. So you just got fresh air from us for free.
Oh no,
Of course, we didn't come up with this, so
I'll totally send you an empty f***ing box if you give me. I'll do it for $5,000. Hell, I'll undercut this bitch.
Okay, and this is what Amy Davidson says about why she bought this for this amount of money. Social media, which is integral to the new economy of the internet, has revolutionized how artists create, promote, and sell their works of art. I felt that the act of purchasing fresh air supported my thesis about a concept I term U-commerce, which is the marketing and monetization of one's persona, skills, and products via the use of social media and self-broadcasting platforms, like Franco's use of the crowdfunding platform Kickstarter to fund the Museum of Non-Visible Art. Essentially, I wanted to put my money where my mouth is, and that is her reasoning for buying this for $10,000. Amy Davidson also has a YouTube channel called LOL Pervs, which is like a comedy channel. She has like 47,000 subscriptions, and I watched some of it. It's not bad. So it's a pretty good channel. Okay, I guess we can discuss and debate this a little bit. Go ahead. You've been holding this in for a while. All this, I can feel the hatred. Just let it all out. How do you feel?
Well, what they've basically done is we're not going to argue the definition of the word art, because that's been done to death, and it's like, oh, you're going to define art, and right, like, all right, so maybe you can't define exactly what art is, but you can sure as hell look at something and tell when art is not. Because I do feel at the very least, art has to be created. Even if it's in the most basic form. You do jack shit hardly, but you have to do something to create it. Because if you don't create it and it already exists, and it's not f***ing art, it's just nature, because it already existed naturally.
Well, they did create something. They created the context for the art piece itself.
No, they emptied a fucking building. They took everything out of a building and was like, hey, come pay us $10,000 to stand in here and breathe some air, the same air that's outside. They also have a really bullshit manifesto.
It just feels like a scam because...
Oh, it's a scam. It's for pretentious people with too much money.
Right. Here's the thing. I'm gonna...
It's not a scam.
Okay, Nathan, why is it not a scam?
Just dumb people.
I'm gonna do this real quick. If you're wondering what James Franco's piece is, he can describe it to you here.
Hi, I'm James Franco, and one of my... artworks is on display here, as you can see. It's a short film that is based on a story by William Faulkner. It's not one of his better known stories. It's called Red Leaves. And this was a great story full of action. It takes place in his fictional Yoknapatawpha County. We built as you can see, we built the riverboat, the steamboat that the chief supposedly lived in. I mean, that was really expensive. Now, I originally intended this to be, a film that, would go to festivals, but it got so expensive, the budget was so high back then that I never realized it. So I've finally been able to realize it for this museum. And now I consider it a piece of art.
Today was the day I lost respect for James Franco.
It's all about the emotion, not the art piece.
Then it's not art; it's an emotion.
Well, art
emotion.
you could art. Well, see, now you're getting into art.
Art can evoke emotions, but an emotion is not art.
In their work, they are sitting here and telling you what their thing is. So it's a communicative art. They're telling you this is the way I feel, and then they are trying to emote. They're trying to get you to have an emotion.